Blink-182 is one of those bands that early on in their career especially, they were a band that wasn't necessarily taken seriously because they were just a bunch of younger adults who still had that kid mentality in them, and they made these catchy pop-punk songs with some cheesy lyrics and some funny music videos. But in 2001, the band decided to get a little serious and talk about a topic that you can't necessarily make funny. That is divorce, and their song Stay Together for the Kids, which to me has always been their most perfect song because I think it's one of the few songs of theirs where all three band members just seem to do their thing very well. Like, for the most part, after that, or even before that, Blink-182 was always like, oh, it's either two band members doing something well or one, never really all three at the exact same time. And this came off of their follow-up to their big album, their one that helped them blow up Enema of the State, which the album was called Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. So yeah, the album name was still a little wacky and weird, but again, they felt like they needed to get a little more serious on here. Now, they did have serious songs in the past off of Enema of the State. You had Adam's Song and Anthem Part 1, and even to start off Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, you had Anthem Part 2. But again, Stay Together for the Kids is just one of those songs that just, I think, hits deeply. Personally, I haven't dealt with my parents being divorced. They're still together. They've been together for my whole, at this point, almost 23 years in life now and whatnot, but I have seen the way that it does affect some people who have to go through it. And really, the vocals on this record just make it a whole lot better. Mark is able to do his thing on the verses.
Rather than fix the problems, they never solve them. It makes no sense at all.
And then it, like, goes right into the chorus.
So here's your holiday. Hope you enjoy it this time.
Tom just shouting his lungs out, not necessarily shouting his lungs out, but he's louder and it's not as whiny as it is. Like, it's more you can feel the pain than just hear him whining about it. Like, it doesn't feel like he's just like, oh, wah, he's legit in pain singing about this topic. And with Mark Hoppus, you can definitely hear in his voice the kind of, I guess it's more disappointment and like confusion of what's going on here, kind of, you know, playing that character that they're kind of talking about in the song. And of course, Travis Barker, I feel like for the most part does his thing. He comes right in on that chorus and just doesn't slow down. But really, lyrically, this is some of their best, because even when they do have some serious songs, there's definitely some lyrics you look back on and you're like, that's the best that they could come up with. But I mean, most of the verses, like Mark Hoppus, where he says, it's hard to wake up when the shades have been pulled shut. This house is haunted. It's so pathetic it makes no sense at all. I'm ripe with things to say. The words rot and fall away. What stupid poem could fix this home? I'd read it every day. He's basically, it starts out with, I'm guessing the person in general finds out, that the child finds out that their parents are getting a divorce, and it probably went through like that whole it's not your fault, and now the kid is just left in confusion as to what's really going on here. And then when you get to verse 2, he says, their anger hurts my ears, been running strong for 7 years. Rather than fix the problems, they never solve them. It makes no sense at all. I see them every day, we get along, so why can't they? If this is what he wants and this is what she wants, then why is there so much pain? So he's basically saying, in this case, the arguing, it upsets him so much, and the fact that, you know, they have these problems, but they never seek to fix them. They just keep mocking each other with it, like, not mocking, that's not the word, but it's just like, it seems like they bring up problems that happened in the past, and they just can never get over it. And then when he says, I see them all the time, I get along with them, so what's the big deal? He's basically saying, well, you know, I mean, I get along with them, I'm their son, so there's got to be something going on here that I don't know about, and it's just confusing and all, and basically saying, I mean, if this is a good decision, then why is there so much tears? Why is there so much pain involved, as the last line before the chorus would insinuate? Like, it's easy to follow, it's easy to understand what they're saying, rather than them trying to do this wacky line in here, or just this line that makes, it's not straight to the point, this song, but it's probably the straightest to the point that Blink-182 have ever done. And sometimes songs like this just need that for them. So yeah, and I think just the way they have the atmosphere set off, it's not a pop punk tune at all. It has this dark atmosphere that kind of starts quiet and then raises the stakes up and kind of finishes off with not only the drums and the guitar doing their thing, but a little piano in the back that kind of fades out, which you can just picture just the kid sitting there at his window at his mom or dad's house, whatever it is at this point, with the divorce being final, just sitting there while it's raining outside, looking out the window, just like, what is this? What is this? Still confused about the whole situation, and it just sums it up so perfectly. And after this, Blink-182 would start to get more serious, as their past like 4 records have definitely shied away from the silliness and more into serious topics, as a lot of people would say that, well, I Miss You is better than Stay Together for the Kids. I can see that argument, but to me, Stay Together for the Kids is the better of the two, because it's probably the most perfect Blink song out there for many, many different reasons, and I've always been able to applaud it. And like I said, not necessarily relate to it, but I know people who can relate to it, and I know how much divorce can hurt the children in general. Maybe not so much the adults, although the adults it definitely affects a lot, but it affects the children more, because now, oh God, you're only seeing one of your parents on the weekend and living with your other parent 5 days a week, and it just becomes confusing, because it's like, well, now my parents aren't together, they're separated, and it just feels so weird in this case. So yeah, that's really all I have to say about this. I would love to hear your opinions in the comments below on what you think the most perfect Blink-182 song is. It could be from a personal reason, or it just could be for the reason that you think like this is the best that all 3 of them have ever sounded, ever. And yeah, that's it for me. Stay safe out there, and I will catch you all in the next one.